Welcome to Hellas Football Podcast, Episode 8. I'm your host, George. Let's get started. Stephen, how are you, mate?
Well, thank you, George. Been a fun week of football and more to come with Europe being back.
Beautiful, beautiful. Nico?
An unbelievably great sporting weekend for me, starting with Aston Villa beating Man United, and then it continued the next day with Panathinaikos scoring twice.
Yeah, for 2 goals within the first few minutes. That was it.
It was 2-0 in the fourth minute.
Game over. Beautiful.
Game over.
And Greg, not such a good weekend for you, mate, football-wise.
Plenty of football, plenty of results, plenty of people making plenty of comments. Let's get into it.
Yeah, beautiful. Last but not least, Michael, how are you?
Good to be back. And just some news on my club, because no one's heard anything. IL, we are through to the next round of the Greek Cup. We beat Apollo Larissa, our crosstown rivals. Yeah, our crosstown rivals, so to say. We beat them 3-0. So there's that.
That was a friendly match.
No, Greek Cup match.
Oh, sorry, Greek Cup. Yes, that's right. The Greek. Yeah, sorry. My head's everywhere. There's been all those Greek Cup matches with the lower teams kicking off, eh?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we'll get started. So there was around the midweek matches played, and we'll kick off with the first one. Ionikos got up 1-0 over Aris. A goal in the 86th minute to AS Osman was the difference in that match. So
George, that was last week.
That was last week. Yes, it was. Tagamisa, boys. I'm gonna. Okay, I'll okay.
I was going to say something.
You know what? I'm confusing my dates here, guys. And that's what happens when you got a little kid that you've been having to entertain all afternoon while mum was working. All right. The first match was Orfi and Asteras, I believe. Is that correct, gentlemen, before I start?
Yes.
Yes,
yeah.
beautiful. Okay, sorry, guys. We'll start again then. Orfi Asteras, 0-0 in that match. Now, I believe that was a bit of a dour match, Greg. Did you pick up on that?
Didn't. It wasn't a great match. Asteras probably had like they have most of the games, good chances, but not able to finish. But yeah, it wasn't anything special.
Yeah, no. I've been picking up a few not so pleasant vibes from Orfi fans with regards to how the team's playing, and they're not too pleased with them. So interesting.
They just played great 15 minutes against Dave.
Stephen, Olympiacos 4-1 winners over Apollon Sminis. Masouras got the goal scoring started in the 8th minute. Went into halftime 1-0. Second half, Tiquinho got a double in the 47th and 72nd minute. Apollon pulled one back, Duada in the 79th minute, and Vrusai wrapped up the 4 goals for us in the 87th minute. How did you see that one, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, after the previous weekend where we had a less than convincing win against Lamia, this was the response we needed. I know it's Apollon Smirni who aren't having the best of starts of the season, but we needed to absolutely destroy them, and we more or less did. And we looked a lot more expansive. We played 4-2-3-1. We went back to basics. Tiquinho getting 2 goals is fantastic because he's showing his class already. Masouras has been a big miss for us. So to have him back and looking great again already is amazing to see. So yeah, very pleased with that result. Silly goal to concede. In the last stage of the second half. Bit of miscommunication between Bar just flicking it and Vashlik just trying to palm it and going straight to the opposing player to score. But it doesn't really matter. Win's a win. So I was pleased. I was pleased after that result.
It was a good result. Yep. All right. Following on from that, Panetolikos hosted PAOK and PAOK got up 2-1. Mitrita got the scoring open in the 32nd minute. George Diaz in the 59th minute equalised for Panetolikos, and a Sid Clay 80th minute goal got the points for the boys from Thessaloniki. Michael, did you pick up on this match by any chance?
Yeah, I did. I did indeed. And I got to tell you what, Panetolikos really gave PAOK a match. They really gave them a challenge. It's just unfortunate they didn't come up. They didn't come up with a result. I thought they at least deserved a point, or at least if I go even further, maybe a win, because they did have some chances towards the end where they should have converted them. Even one chance before half time, they missed from 1 yard out, and I really couldn't believe how, I think it was Vergos or Mendoza, I'm not sure, one of the two, missed from 1 yard out.
Mendoza.
Was it Mendoza?
Yes, yeah. I couldn't believe it. How did he miss from there? But overall, they had a good match, but unfortunate that they lost. But Park, they should be pleased to come away with that result to get the win, because that was pretty hard fought.
Yeah, no, they're starting to get their straps together there at the club after a bit of an off start. AEK 1-0 winners over Lamia. Goal to Araujo in the 67th minute was the difference there for you, Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, look, we controlled a lot of the ball, but and we had a fair few chances, but the team's really not gelling that well. The fans, especially in Greece, give Mandalos such a hard time, but Jeftic, the guy that's come in, the other central attacking midfielder, he's been really disappointing, and he's gotten off scot-free from as far as I'm concerned. Araujo, to his credit, he ran his butt off. He got the winning goal, and he deserved that. But we were lucky. Lamia missed a huge. Ramkovic missed a huge one-on-one chance, which was onside. So that we were lucky we got away with that. But yeah, it hasn't been convincing. And 1-0 over Lamia at home. A decent amount of possession. We pushed the ball around a fair bit, quite well, but in the final third, that final last or second last pass is just not happening. We're not really penetrating all that great to get that shot on goal and test the opposition goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's just you've had an inconsistent start. You're trying. It seems like you're trying to implement something that's just not really working. I don't know. I mean, am I thinking too much? Maybe I'm overthinking that part. But what do you think is happening within the club? Like,
I haven't been. I'm not. I haven't been a big fan of Milojevic since he came in pre-season. He kept using similar tactic and kept getting a similar result. Even against Lamia, he brought on Zvarnas in the last minute, like he did against Tofi. Which is pretty, and we're lucky to defend there as well. There's just been a great gelling of the team on the field. Galanopoulos has been a huge loss. Letelek and Simansky have been okay.
Yeah.
But the right back Michelin, for example, he started off really, really well, but he's been pretty ordinary in the last few games now. So we've lacked a little bit of width on the right at times. On the other side of things, on the left, the new left back, the Iranian, just names just passed my mind right now, but he's been really good. Yes, he's been quite good.
Yep.
No, the other one.
Haji Safi.
Haji Safi. Yeah.
He's probably been one of him with Zuba have probably been the two best of the new boys. But I personally think we're lacking that person in the middle that's going to control us. And Mandalos has had limited minutes. He cops anytime things don't go away, he cops the brunt of everything. Let's be honest, especially from the fans in the motherland. But I think he needs to cement that role there so we can have some consistency.
Yeah.
He's not in great form at the moment, but I think right now he's going to make a bigger impact than what Jeftic has done, who was very disappointing against Lamia and was even more disappointing against Balk, which we'll get to later.
Yep, no, definitely. Good insight there, mate. Nico, Aris, 1-0 winners over your boys. Camara got a goal in the 10th minute. Yellow cards all over the place in the second half for both sides, but ultimately they took all the points in that match. How did you pick that one up, mate?
Yeah, pretty much as you said there, after the goal, from our end especially, not much to talk about. We didn't do enough to win. That's just the facts in that one. It was a sloppy goal to concede. And as I said, we did more we showed more in the final third than the previous game before that, Baz Yanina. but the form on the road's a bit of a worry.
Now, your coach mixed up the team as well, so he made a few changes. Villafañez started. I think this is the first game he started this season, I believe. Yeah. So how did he show it?
Didn't do enough.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
The centre, but I mean, we'll get onto it later with the derby coming up. But we're a bit all over the place at the back.
Yeah, no, it was interesting for them. Artis being under the pump as well, got a result there to I think just they got with their -6 there, so there's all kind of issues there. So that was a big win for them at home as well. All right, following on from that, yep, sorry.
Just to add on to that, because regarding Villafañez, I was actually shocked to see him start because he had a bust up with Hadziovanis in before the season started. And they were both in the lineup.
Isn't bust-ups the norm at Panathinaikos these days?
Yeah. So no matter if Bologna's not there or not, so it's still continuing. But I was actually shocked to see them two in the lineup. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, okay. Following on from that, Ionikos and Pasianina had a 0 or draw. Nothing really to state. If you want to keep going from that one there. Volos, 3-0 winners over Atromitos there. Goals to Kevin Rosero, Tom Van Weert, and Teresio in the 96th minute for Volos there. Greg, how did you pick this one, mate?
It was a great all-round full match performance from Volos. They absolutely outplayed Atromitos, played some very nice football. And it was also good to see Teresio, a young Greek player, score a beautiful, nice one-on-one finish at the end of the game. I put the icing on the cake. Hopefully we'll see more Volos fans in the future, but they played some great football there and it was good to watch.
I don't think they've got fans, Greg. I think we have to let that one go.
Yeah, there was a bay that was full of
I think we have to,
or something.
I think we have to let that one go. I think if Olympiacos Volos or Niki Volos come in, they'll probably have more fans, but look, the club's going well. I believe after that result, Atromitos fired their coach as well.
Yes.
That came back to bite me.
I don't know. It's an interesting one with that kind of stuff because I was saying it like on social media the other day. You get these clubs and they have these really progressive thinking minds in the preseason and they go out and they just, especially for Atromitos, they went all out. And it didn't work, hasn't worked out initially. So they've just reined it all back in and they've just gone back to what they know. And it's just like, it's one step forward, 2 steps backwards sometimes. And that's not a blight on the coach that they've picked up or anything. He had success. He's probably had the best success at the club as a coach, but it's hard to see how they're going to get out of this considering that team was specifically built by the previous coach. But, I guess time will tell within the season there. Going back here now, where are we? Olympiacos, 2-0 winners over Asteras there.
Round 4.
Yes, round 4, that's right. Yeah, well, there you go. So, Greg, you're on fire today and I'm all over the place. All right, so round 4, the weekend matches there. Olympiacos away to Asteras. Goals to Tiquinho and Camara in the 7th and 23rd minute were the difference in the match, and it stayed 2-0 there. Steve-o, how did you see this one, mate?
Yeah, much more comfortable than what we saw against Apollon. Apollon, it seemed to be all about decisiveness and just absolutely blowing the other team away. This one was a more controlled performance, much more professional. We got the goal early on from Tiquinho again, Masouras influencing the goal with his assist. And then Asteras got an equaliser, or so they thought when it was actually ruled out for offside.
Should have stayed. That should have been a goal.
Oh.
Well,
the guy that scored was way onside, and the guy that they called offside was not. He didn't interfere in any way.
Yeah, but that's always been the case, Greg. Like, you can't, like, it's never been a different rule to that one.
But he didn't interfere, I'm saying.
But that's still always been an offside.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I mean,
sometimes it has been given, sometimes. I thought this call was particularly harsh because the guy that scored, the cross came in, there was a player offside who was not involved in the play.
I agree.
And then he scored and it was way onside, the other guy.
I agree. He had no interference in the actual goal itself, but I mean, imagine if they pull that back. Imagine how VAR is going to be dealing with those type of things if like the referee has to make a decision on that. I've always seen it if you're offside, especially in that area, if it was more upfield, then the ref uses his discretion and the player can pull back. But in the goal area like that, I think it's, yeah. Steve, Tiquinho getting amongst the goals. It's good to see.
It's really good to see. We need a striker that can really compete with El Arabi, and we have that now. And it's now going to be a good headache for Pedro Martinez as he starts.
Almost like the changing of the guard, potentially.
Yeah, and I've always kind of seen Tiquinho ever since he came in, and I've seen what he's done previously and what he's doing now. He is, in a way, the long-term heir to El Arabi, in a way. Not obviously like I'm saying we have to get El Arabi out now, but let's say end of the season, if things kind of transition and El Arabi leaves because he is getting on a bit now, maybe Tiquinho is the starting striker next season. We'll see. It's still very early on in the season. Things can change, but he's proving himself to be a very good goal scorer as the lone striker.
No, he sure is. I read somewhere online on social media someone compared him to Giovanni. I was like, we won't go that far.
Wow. I guess it's just because
I think the future Giovanni, the way things are looking, but yeah.
30 years old, like when Giovanni came in.
Yeah, Giovanni was a special player.
Got a long way to go to feel Giovanni's
exactly.
boots.
So in terms of quality, no comparison.
And even career-wise, Giovanni was just
we all know Hassan is better than both of them. So
absolutely, Mitroglou having coffees in Athens.
Exactly.
He's just waiting for his time. There you go. All right, Nico. Panathinaikos 5-1 winners over an in-form Volos. That was a smash and grab early on that set the scene. Carlitos' third-minute goal. Ioannidis a minute later got the double there. Hagiovannis in the 33rd minute. Vidal in the just before half time. Now, Guelen pulled one back for Volos, but Carlitos wrapped it up in the 69th minute. That was an impressive win considering how Volos has been playing. How did you see it, mate?
Exactly as you said. I think impressive is the word there. We needed a reaction after the last two games on the road.
Huge, yes.
Which not many teams are gonna struggle going to play Bus and Aris away. And yeah, we got that reaction. It was a lineup full of attacking intent, and they showed it from the get-go. Really, we pressed Volos high up the pitch, and they had no answers. But both those first two goals came from exactly that.
Yeah,
they just did not get past us.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what those first two goals came from. A guy called Franco Romero in the Volos defense, who had an absolute shocker in the first one and the second goal. First goal, he passed back to the keeper. Instead of staying square, he runs behind the attacker.
Yeah.
And then the second goal, he can't clear the ball when it's right to him and gives, I think I need this, a simple tap in.
And I think the coach saw that as well, Greg, because he got subbed off at half time. He got subbed off at half time. Look, to put the 5 goals in context, you had 10 shots on target and you converted 5. 50% is amazing in football.
Yeah, no, it was very good. Especially my man of the match for this game is Carlitos. The guy's in outstanding form at the moment. We're talking 4 goals in 4 games so far.
How old is he, Nico?
I think he's in his early 30s now.
Okay, so he's getting on a bit, but he's
got that experience, and I think he's found a new lease of life under this coach and in this system. It works. This is the player that we wanted to sign, that we thought we had signed back then.
So he's a classic number 10.
Last season he was playing further up. This season, playing just behind the striker, it seems to be working a treat because he's got that freedom to roam around.
Yes,
he drops even deeper.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I haven't seen. Does he come deep to look for the ball?
Yeah.
Okay.
We used him as an outlet in this game, and he'd even go to the left.
Yeah.
And Volos tried to press us as well, high up the pitch, and he was crucial in beating their press. He switched the play around nicely a couple of times, and he popped up on the left with our third goal from Hagiovannis, who had a great game himself.
Yeah,
that was a brilliant goal from the outside of Carlitos' right foot, and Hagiovannis was there to meet it.
That's right. It was a whip. It was
outstanding goal.
That was a beautiful
goal. Again, brilliant. It attacks not a drama, especially at home. We just got to we'll talk about the derby later, but yeah, it's up the other end.
It's up there, yeah. Well, Antoni pulled out his champions memorabilia again.
It was the first time. I don't know if it was. We definitely scored 5 in Donis's first season, but it's the first time we've scored more than 4 goals in a game at Volos in 4 years. Now, I know we didn't play there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But yeah, very impressive.
It's good. Yeah, the fans. It was very. The fans were alive in the stadium as well, so that was good to see for you guys.
Atmosphere.
Yeah, it was a great atmosphere for the club. All right, following on from that, Lamia 2-2 draw with Panetolikos. Mazuluxis got the scoring started in the 10th minute. Duarte pulled one back for Panetolikos in the 30th. Christopher Nunes in the 66th minute got the lead back for Lamia. And Ivan Varone in the 91st minute got an equaliser for Panetolikos. Michael, how did you see this one?
2 teams going at each other. I thoroughly enjoyed that match for the whole 90 minutes.
Yes.
It was just non-stop. One end to the attack, one other team to the other end. It was a beautiful game to watch. Unfortunate, no winner there, but I think Lamia were a little bit hard done by because they were just about to get the win, and Varone stepped up for Panetolikos in the last minutes. I think it was a header or a tap in, and he spoiled the party for them.
Yeah.
But I just want to give a little shout out to the 17-year-old for Lamia, Vasilis Trumbolos, starting in defensive midfield to replace Tsandaris, who was injured. And Vintra started at right back. He's 40 years old. And I read before, that's the largest age gap between players in a match, and that would probably never be broken.
Yeah, no, it's a good little, He had a good game there, Trumbolos, and then he got subbed off early in the 60th, but just before the 58th minute in the second half. But he's a good little player, that one, isn't he?
The first goal Panetolikos scored in that was a beauty.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, that was the in the 10th
Duarte.
minute.
Oh, sorry,
Duarte, yeah.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Perfectly executed. No chance for the Lamia goalkeeper.
I think we've all got a bit of egg on our face as well, early doors about Panetolikos.
I see a change in them with Anastasiou at the helm.
That's what I mean.
If they can keep this style of play, they can hurt some teams.
They've got players that have been there, experienced, done it before, especially up front. And the coach has been there and done it before.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a change in Virgos, and it's not just under Anastasiou, it's with Delas as well. He's started to play him a lot last season. He started to kick some goals, and even now under Anastasiou, looks like he's starting to find himself.
You just reminded me as well, Michael. Sorry to anyone. I was steadfast that Delas was the coach for them. I said that last week, and I don't think anyone put Nico like.
I thought I was going crazy.
No, and you're usually good at that. Yeah, man. So stuff that one up.
But Lamia's going to be safe as well. Like they're looking much better than a lot of sides in the division.
Good on them there. Good on them there. Shout out to one of our Instagram followers there, Ioana. She sent us a DM saying, "I want more Panetolikos information on your website, so on your social media sites." So I hope that I hope her team's making her proud. All right, Greg, Bulk 2-0 winners over AEK in the derby there. Biseswar in the 42nd minute got the goal scoring going, and Kurtic in the 79th minute got a penalty for Bulk. Just my observation before I go to you guys, I watched that game and it just looked like you're playing such a high line and you were just always running backwards. And I've said this since day one. Biseswar looks to me unfit, but he had a field day with you guys. I don't understand why you were playing so high and why you were given so much space, though. I mean, Greg, was I watching it incorrectly? Did I see it differently to you, or?
No, it's been a tactic for us that has worked in the past, but PAOK, to their credit, and I think most teams now in Greece have realised you start working. Expect to be high pressed and work the ball out correctly. But at the same time, when certain players, you'll get success if you can manage to, get those quick passes going to move your way up the field. But at the same time, when you've got players, some of the AEK players, especially Vranjes, and I'm going to call out Michelin as well. But when when you're making it so obvious that you're going to press someone, you're going to leave a player open to go press someone. Of course, a player like Biseswar or any professional footballer is going to know, okay, this guy's coming to me. First touch, I'm going to play it off to the guy out wide. Yeah. This guy's left free. And that's what we kept doing. Letalak had his worst game for us as well. The guys didn't step up for it at all. Like, there was a lot of anticipation for this game with the new players Ajax brought in, especially with a player like Zuba and with Garcia back from after his ridiculous red card against Orfi. But it was a huge anticlimax, and credit to Bulk, who were just way sharper than us, played their game plan, outdid our game plan completely, and completely deserved the win. Yeah.
The thing with that game, right, is I'm probably going to piss off a lot of Bulk fans here. I thought you guys gave them the game, to be quite honest, because a lot of their movement was basically off your mistakes.
I mean, that's poor reading from our players. It's inexcusable.
It wasn't addressed either. Like after the first goal, where you think, okay, they just kept making the same mistakes. I mean, and even the penalty, for instance, like.
Oh, that was shocking. You put your leg out like that. Of course,
Bulk. I'm not taking anything. Nico, I'm not taking anything away from Bulk. I just thought that Aik were just so.
Biseswar, who we wrote off, and Schwab.
I still write.
Nah, I don't write Biseswar off at all myself personally. The guys, I know you guys give it to him, but he's a very smart player, and he creates a lot of space for Bulk that probably doesn't get credit. He doesn't get enough credit for that, and. If you look a lot of Bulk's wins and Bulk's goals this year, they will come through him. So I think that's pretty powerful.
I don't write him off as a player. Like, he's obviously got the technical ability. I just think he just looks out of shape and out of form. But in this,
he's not out of form though.
Not out of form. Yeah, in this match, no, he wasn't out of form. But I just think if he gets shut down nice and early, then he kind of just fades out of games. But he didn't, and he grew another leg on you guys. And
well, this is where I think his strength is. It's that quick play the ball to open up space. And in Greece at the moment, a lot of teams like Ajax, Volos, Panathinaikos, they're all, they're pressing, and not just them team. Most teams are doing the high press.
Yeah.
So like I said earlier, if you can work that out and get your passing game going, you're gonna create a lot of space for yourself.
Yeah.
We've got now we've got the Bulk fans who are pretty psyched. They've got a Bulk fan, Billy Vasilou, who thinks Bulk can actually go for the championship win, which was sent to me through the Hellas Football page. So the hopes are up. We've got a lot of very optimistic fans coming from the Bulk and Pulse supporters. From the looks of it.
We got Bulk fans are great. I love the band. I mean, we had someone comment on our Instagram page about we're all bloody I don't know, whatever was going on about calling us thing because we weren't talking up Bulk, and I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Like, and he's like, sorry, man, I was just psyched after the win, and I'm like, nah, good on you, like. It was a good win for him.
One thing I will say is the next probably, I think personally, the next 7-8 games for Milojevic are going to be quite important because he hasn't impressed me from day one, and we haven't been impressive at all. Like even the game against Lamia, we were struggling. We have a lot of new players, so that's why I'm saying a fair few games. But if we're like this, still in this form, come the winter break, I think I don't know if he's going to be there.
Do you know what it is for me? And what I'm thinking here as well. So you got the teams right in the preseason; they're all prepping up, like Ajax, for instance, as well, for a European dash. Right? They failed. It is what it is, and then the league was delayed. So then after that failure, then you had nothing to try to redeem yourself. And then you had to wait an additional extra period there to start playing ballet again. And I think that's affected you guys to a point there because you didn't have that quick opportunity to do a bit of redemption there. Stephen?
No, I agree with you, George. At least with Olympiacos and Bulk, they had, even though obviously the delay has affected them to a certain extent too, they at least had European fixtures to play, which were competitive. Yes. And then they
progressed.
Qualifying for and they progressed. So they have that advantages to that sense.
And then
they also have managers. They also have managers who are familiar with their clubs as well. Which Lasescu coming back was big for Bulk because he knows the club to a certain extent. Martins has been there 4 years, so there's that as well. I think.
Then you got the flip side here with the lesser teams in the league where they were just like, well, we got nothing to lose a lot of the times. They hadn't played any competitive matches, so then they just shocked a few results out there. To get the league started. But I genuinely think that we haven't seen what the league's going to look like. I think we've got another probably 4 or 5, about a month's worth of football.
By game week 10, when match week 10 is done.
Everything will kind of settle and then you'll kind of see the lay of the land and how teams are going to go this season. All right, following that.
In that fixture, they've met 6 times in 2021 and Bulk has just completely got Ajax measure head to head.
Yeah, it's been so disappointing.
One win in the last 15 meetings for Ajax over Bulk.
Well, for Ajax in the last 17 games with in derbies. Sorry, since we've won the title. First of all, since we've won the title in 36 games, we've only won 4 derbies and lost 19 times. Against Olympiacos, Bulk, and Panathinaikos, in the last 17 games, we've won 1 game. It's been terrible.
Yeah, I'm just looking at your results here. 2-1 loss, 2-1 loss, 1-0 loss, 3-1 loss, 2-2 draw, 1-1 draw,
and those games
0-0 draw. You had a win, 2-0 win in the 2020 season, and a 1-0 loss. So yeah,
those games are 6-pointers, for Europe or the title.
Of course they are. Yeah, absolutely. From the big 4 or 5 clubs that are competing. All right, Basjanina hosted Orfi. Orfi got the scoring started in the 12th minute. Juan Angel Nera converted a penalty there, and the 22nd minute Bas equalised. Nicola Milinceanu.
Milicianu, I think.
Milicianu, yeah. And that stayed 1-1 there. Again, I was seeing Orfi fans online saying this isn't the type of football that we were promised by the club, etc. So, Greg, did you happen to pick up this match by any chance?
I saw extended highlights, and I think Orfi was a bit lucky to get that penalty. But otherwise, Basjanina probably should have got the win there.
Yeah, Conde plays, they win that. With that, some of those chances
that's
are
right.
glorious.
Yeah,
and I think it was Moreira, but both of them, they could have had multiple.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so interesting time at Orfi. They're just picking up points here and there, but it's not as impressive as what the fans would like. Apollon Smirnis and Olympiacos had a 0-0 draw there. Yellow cards all over the place, and Tzolis got himself a red card or a second yellow card, in the 84th minute. So he will have a nice little break next week as well. Last match of the round, Atromitos hosted Aris with their new coach, but they went down 3-1. Daniel Mancini got the goals going for Aris. Spiridonovic pulled one back just before half-time for Atromitos, and Bruno Gama and Ezequiel Garcia goals in the 60th and 65th minute got themselves the 3-1 win for Aris there. Boys, who picked up on this match?
I watched that, and I got to say, if it wasn't for those mistakes from Atromitos, they would have gotten a result at least, but especially on Aris' third goal. What is K-Pap thinking? Seriously. He knew the Aris player was there, Garcia, and he would pounce on it, and he went on and scored. Yeah. Just some stupid errors that led to goals.
Yeah, so...
But one thing I'll say, Goulouris did have a good match, but just unlucky to score. Just needs to work on his finishing.
Which I think their goal did come from him, though.
Yeah, it did come from him, and I think he will score goals eventually.
He hasn't broken his duck yet, unfortunately for him. So, considering he's had a bad few years, it'd be nice for him to get himself back on the scoring sheet there. With that win as well, Aris outside their minus point mark, so they're on 1 point now. So
they're fighting back. So they'll be pleased with that win, and especially how clinical they were. The first goal was very good, very nice finish from Mancini. And I got to say, there's no complaints for the second goal. Goulouris clearly handballed it. So it was straight to the spot for the ref.
Yep.
But speaking of the ref, the VAR was just ridiculous this game. They had to review 5 minutes, a goal line clearance from Tzolis.
That was a goal, wasn't it?
It looked like a goal. It looks like the ball went over. But
to me, that looked like a goal, yeah.
Yeah. But it is amazing that Greece does not have goal line technology. Amazing, isn't it?
Is it?
I'm not that surprised.
Yeah,
amazing.
Look, it's one of those things though. Like we talk about not wanting VAR, how VAR ruins the game and all that. So if you add other stuff there, they still find ways to stuff things up. So if we could have our way though, you'd flip it and you just pull in goal line technology and get rid of VAR. But they never do things the easy way in Greece. All right, after these 2 rounds of matches, Olympiacos find themselves on top with 10 points. PAOK find themselves second with 9 points. Volos dropped the lead there on 9 points and dropped the third. Pasianina on 8 points. AEK on 7. Panathinaikos on 6. Best of the rest, Panetolikos sitting 7th on 5 points. Oenikos on 5. Ofi on 4. Asteras 2, Aris 1, Lamia 1, Apollon 1, Atromitos 1 point. Now we move on. Yes.
Asteras yet to score.
And Asteras yet to score. Yeah.
Amazingly, somehow.
And they had a great
preseason.
Preseason as well.
Barales is one of the better strikers in the league as well.
Yeah, so interesting. Oh, hopefully they can pull their boots out there and keep going because they did have a really impressive preseason. I think they went undefeated. Am I correct?
Undefeated, yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
But I'll be
young Alex talking them up.
I'll be keeping my eyes on Apollo now because they've hired a former coach of my club. So
yes, Festa got the job there. So interesting to see how he goes without alleged interference from at the old club.
This is one thing that club management should never do. Don't get in the face of the coach. Let the coach do his work. So give Festa the freedom. He will turn Apollon around.
I mean, Marinakis used to do that up until recently. So it's easier said than done when these guys, these billionaires, they want to control the thing. So I think you just got to you got to hire them and obviously have faith in their ability. Otherwise, why are you hiring them?
Yeah.
You can just hire. You can put just a couple puppets in there, and then you can just pull the strings. But then that won't work either. Round coming up. Volos Asteras playoff, so that'll be actually a good match to see if Asteras can get into gear with an informed Volos. Aris host Apollon, Atromitos Pas, Panetolikos host AEK. Greg,
it's going to be
there's going to be a lot of tears. There's going to be tears if you lose this one, or even draw it, mate. I think
heads are going to roll.
Yes, massive. Ofi PAOK is another interesting match there. Ionikos Lamia play. And the big match, the derby of eternal enemies, Olympiacos Panathinaikos. We'll start with you, Nico. How do you see going into that match? Are you confident? What are you looking at? What are you hoping the team's going to be trying to exploit?
I think, look, unlike the last couple of seasons gone by, I think we're going to play like Panathinaikos, if you know what I mean. Play like a big club and play on the front foot rather than being a bit more cautious. I think we're going to have to because defensively we're not great. As I said, Schenkerveld's still out. Velez looks like he'll miss this one. It's not confirmed yet. I think he's gone for scans, so we'll find out later this week. Hadziovanis and also Vital also picked up slight knocks, but they'll be right to go. Apparently.
Have you got a player suspended, or
No.
Did I miss? Okay, so maybe it was Velez that Antonio was. Is potentially injured. Yeah,
we're looking at a centre back pairing of Bunguras and Sarlia, which is scary.
Well, that's what I was going to go across to Steve here. Tiquinho has got his scoring boots on and he's finding some form. We've got the European match, obviously first up.
Yeah.
So that could go into Panathinaikos' favour there, depending on how that game goes. But Steve, how do you see? I mean, what would you like to see Olympiacos do in a derby match like that?
To win.
Well,
it's a good start. I think it's all dependent on what, like you said, George, what happens against Fenerbahce on Thursday, who comes out. I mean, Jan Villa isn't 100% fit from what I'm hearing. Bouchalakis has been running to the ground this season by Martins, so there's a couple of midfielders who may or may not be available. There will be a switch round from whoever plays on the weekend in the midweek. So we're at home, so I have more confidence playing Panathinaikos in Piraeus than Leoforos, because that's always a tough place to go. So I hope that we can do it. I think we certainly can do it, especially at home in front with our crowd. Being back, there's going to be a massive, massive thing for us to have our crowd back. So
that'll be your 12th man.
Exactly, we need them.
Nico, crowd violence. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Something's going to happen, but there'll be no points deductions, no fines, no nothing. It's Olympiacos.
Do you okay? Do you think the game's matured enough so none of those stupid things would happen where games get called off, etc. That's where I was
going. If it was at our home ground, I'd be confident something goes down.
Yeah, okay.
The fans have been locked up now for over a year for derbies, 18 months, whatever.
Yeah, they have been. Yeah, they've been locked up for a long time.
Bursting at the seams for this one.
No away fans.
No, of course not. It hasn't been for years.
Yeah, I thought maybe because, post-COVID, they'll relax some of those
that's
rules,
another separate point. There hasn't been away fans at all, I don't think. Usually, if it's like Lamia or Atromitos or Asteras, usually there's away fans of the bigger clubs that attend.
Not
I
anymore
haven't even
now.
seen that this year. COVID.
Not for this season. Yeah. For that reason, COVID.
So COVID's blocked it all up. Okay, interesting there. Although you still see some clubs advertising, so I dare say if you wanted to go, you could probably go to a match. So I'm sure you're going to see a few sneaky Panathinaikos fans in the matches, as you always should in football. Greg, just a quick one from you, man. How do you see this match going?
I'm quite interested to see this game, especially with Olympiacos playing Fenerbahce during the week. Then coming into this, like Stephen mentioned, there's a few players like Kalakis, for example, who have really played a lot of games. I hope, I think Panathinaikos always shows up to these games. So
100% they do, yeah.
It should be a very good challenge with Olympiacos playing midweek and having to back that up. So I quietly want the Greens to match their talk and get a result here. So let's see what happens.
We've been
I think we'll go to play. I think we will.
You always do. You will. Of course you will.
Yeah.
I think the front four, the attacking four, Carlitos, Ioannidis, and then you've got Vital and Hadziovanis. They have to be a lock for this game.
Well,
they can create from nothing.
We've seen that you guys are scoring. We've got our scoring boots on as well, so it could end up being a high-scoring match.
For us, it's a matter of packing that midfield, because not to expose ourselves at the back. Stick Mauricio in there. You've got Alexandropoulos there, Ruben Perez.
It'll be good to see your attack up against our defence as well, because our defence has pretty much been the better part of what we've had all season. Yeah, we've had a few sloppy ones conceded, but for most parts, our defence has been pretty stable.
And Semedo's back in training as well, George, but I don't think he won't be ready for this game. But he's back, so
yeah, he's back, and he's made statements that he's going to prove people wrong and all that kind of stuff. So good on him. Look, whatever. He's got his personal life issues that he needs to deal with and probably make better choices in life. But that's not for. I just want to talk about football. All right, end of week European matches. Now Olympiacos with you. We'll continue on with you, Stephen. Here they head over and to Turkey to play Fenerbahce. Now, a win there, because they had a draw, so a win for us would potentially give us some clear air. Although I had a quick look and they're flying in the league. So
they're top, yeah.
Yeah, so how do you think this one might go?
This is going to be probably one of the hardest games of the season. Not just because of the team Fenerbahce have on paper, because they have a fairly decent team. If you look at the individuals, they have a lot of Premier League rejects, Mesut Ozil, Enner Valencia, players like that, who are decent still, despite not being the level they may have been previously. But the big thing is their fans. They are going to hound Olympiacos from before the game to long after. And that is the environment that they have to go into. And to get a result is going to be really difficult. I won't make a prediction yet because I'm saving that for the blog that I'm writing right now. But it's going to be really difficult. This will be a tough game.
Yeah, look, it's the litmus test, and we're going to get a double of it. Playing them and then a few days later in the derby. But look, at the end of the day, you want to be a champion club, you've got to play the champion games.
But they'll also mean Olympiacos players will be up for it as well. They'll want to win. Like both teams will want to win more than anything for this game.
Now, they've got a player at their club, Bright Osei Samuel. He used to play for QPR as well. He's a winger. He's a quite solid kid, got some pace on him. So I'm interested to see how he'll go for him because he left our club on dubious circumstances and took up a long-term deal.
They also have Belkas as well, and he'll want to play us and beat us.
Yeah, although he missed a penalty during the weekend. So hopefully they keep him on the bench. Well, hopefully they start him and he has another shocker.
And they have, obviously, like I said, they have Ozil who played us when he was at Arsenal. So he'll know and want to beat us for both reasons there as well.
Hopefully, Socrates hopefully can put him in his pocket. It's a perfect. We hope so. It's a perfect opportunity for us. If we can get the 3 points there, then we put ourselves in a box seat.
Massive. It'll be massive. If we get 2 wins from our first, if we get 2 wins from our first 2 games, that's a great.
I can't think of when the last time we did that. But I have a bad memory as well, but it's been a while. And then we go to the other one. PAOK host Slovan Bratislava there. So that'll be a good match for PAOK as well. They had a 3-0 win and Slovan lost 2-0 to Copenhagen. So an opportunity there.
They've got to win that.
Yeah, an opportunity there for them to get some clear air as well, because you would think that Copenhagen is going to beat Lincoln Red Imps there. So, a win there potentially goes 6-6, 0-0 on points-wise there. So, and you can almost pretty much guarantee second spot would be theirs to lose. So,
playing at home, they should.
It's not the first time these two sides have met. If we recall 2 years ago, in the Europa League playoffs, PAOK got knocked out by Slovan Bratislava.
Yeah, well, they won 3-2 and they lost 1-0. But that was back when the away goal rule meant something.
Yep.
So if that was this year, it would have been 3-3, and they would have just gone extra time and penalties. So yeah.
So a must win. Win.
No, it is a must win.
No excuses. If you draw or lose, must win. And just on their previous match back with Lincoln, I actually thought it was very sloppy. Just my thoughts there.
Yeah.
I hope they don't dish up like that again. So.
And just speaking of head-to-head, Olympiacos has played Fenerbahce twice in both friendlies, though, recently, and they were both a 3-2 and a 2-1 loss. So, but that doesn't mean nothing because it was about 4 or 5 years ago.
No, I'll mention that in the blog as well, but it's more just previous records with other Turkish sides for Olympiacos. The same with Fenerbahce as well.
Yeah. So you got some friends on Twitter as well, Steve. That.
Oh yeah, well
we won't go there.
We won't go into that.
No, we'll just let that one go. All right, now some young guns killing it overseas. Michael, did you want to jump on that one? Douvikas.
Yep, that's just Douvikas killing it in the Netherlands. I called it from day one that it was a good move to Utrecht. They play some nice football. I've watched a couple of games this season.
Yep.
They play some attractive football, attacking football at least, and it actually suits his style. Whether he scores penalties or not, he's on fire. He's giving opposition defenders a nuisance.
Yep.
He is a nuisance at least. He was like that in for the Tiquinho mother against Sweden. He was one of the reasons we got the win.
No, it's looking.
He's translating that. He's translating that over to international and over domestic as well. So it's good to see that he's become a shining light for Utrecht, and also for
and just
Greece as well.
another one with Greeks abroad. You're just seeing. I was looking around some Liverpool tweets and all that, and the question was put out: who should start, Tsimikas or Robertson? Surprisingly, a lot of English football fans. So this wasn't bombarded by Greek Olympiacos fans or Ethnic or other fans. A lot of the English fans were saying Tsimikas. He's got a better delivery. You know, there was some nice comments about what he brings to the game. Now, a lot of them were saying Robertson is still their number one, but they just feel that Kostas is bringing something different to their team. So
Robertson will always be Liverpool's number one. It's just that Tsimikas, when he's called upon, he'll actually have to do the same job as Robertson. And that's the job for a backup. He's got to deliver the same as the first choice.
Yeah, well, you've got to do the same or better to try to take his spot. Yeah, so look, he's been doing everything right.
Anytime Tsimikas has played for Liverpool so far, he's been outstanding. So, and I've seen a few people on social media that he's been wasted, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, man, last season he had a couple of knee injuries. He had COVID.
Yeah.
Maybe he had to rejuvenate, find some motivation. And Klopp did keep his word. He was content on using Tsimikas this season, and he's keeping his word on that. So he's not being wasted. I don't get where that narrative's coming from. It's just that he had to find himself
he just
again.
Whatever. Yeah, he had a 12 months he'd like to forget, but I think he's been able to rejuvenate himself and show his true colours. Steve, did you want to add to that, mate?
Yeah, but and also this is healthy for a squad. You know, Robertson hasn't been contested at the left back role since he took it from Alberto Moreno, who's
dreadful.
He was dreadful, and so this is a healthy thing for Klopp to have in his squad, to have a player who's pushing Robertson to be as good as he always is, because Robertson, of course, as Michael has said, is always going to be the number one left back. But if Tsimikas can compete for that and occasionally win it over him, that's not a bad thing for Robertson either, because Robertson played 50 games in all competitions last season, you know?
Yeah.
Got to give him a rest.
And just recently, Robertson I didn't think he played well against Brentford. I watched the match with Brentford 3-3, like thrilling match, like, you know, heartbreaking for me because I support Liverpool, but I thought Robertson was actually bang average. But if you put Tsimikas in that match, he would have actually did a lot better than with his crosses and his delivery from corners. That's the little bit of a difference that you can see between those two.
It's a good headache as well.
But what you said, Steve, this is healthy for Klopp. He's got something to think about between those two players.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, boys. We put out the question, the Hellas Footy Pod hashtag out to anyone that wanted to ask a question, comment on the podcast, or just get something that we might be able to answer this. So we've got a few questions here. We'll get started. So John P. at Offside Law. Great pod. Thank you, John. One question: how do you watch club games from Greece? What service do you use? Also, where do you get your football news from? First question, John: how do you watch club games from Greece? With a hope and a prayer, mate. Unfortunately, the lack of streaming services available. There's Go Greek TV, but unless you purchase like an IPTV system and you get all the Greek channels, it's very difficult at this stage. I'm trying, John. Well, I'm communicating with a lot of streaming services, so fingers crossed we get something. But unfortunately, I can't give you any help with that one there. Michael, you're all over this. Best Greek sites, best sites to get non-Malakia news, I guess, from Greek football. What are your go-to sites?
Gazeta, Sport 24, Nova Sports, Sport FM 94.6.
Perfect.
And SDNA to a certain extent, if you take away.
If you're a Panathinaikos fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't concentrate much on SDNA, but they do have some exclusive information on other clubs. But mainly those four: Gazeta, Sport 24, Sport FM 94.6, and Nova Sports.
Yep. Shout out to them, and if they're listening, if anyone's listening to the podcast from those, if you want to, give us a little pick me up or a talk, we'll take it as well. So yeah, thanks for that, John. All right. We got another question here from Seven Ianuli at Seven Ianuli. 2 questions. Haven't heard much on Samaris and Siovas. What's going on with them? And the second question, well, we'll go with the first one there. Samaris and Siovas. Greg, have you heard anything with them?
I've heard Samaris was interested. Balk and Ajax were interested in Samaris. I personally, Makaria put Samari from Ajax.
Yeah.
But nothing's really been very concrete at all. It's just rumors. So with Siovas, 1 minute it was very close to Olympiacos. Then he was going to go to another club in Spain, and then he went a little bit quiet again. So I'm sure Siovas is going to get picked. He's a bloody great player. I know, although Melisanides, I knew it was happening. He came out and said there's no way he's coming to Ajax, which I wasn't surprised with. Even though
just because of his Olympiacos links, or
he was back in the day when he was playing for Olympiacos. There was a lot of rivalry. He was pretty aggressive and pretty vocal against us. So I'm not surprised he's burnt his bridge with Ajax, even though right now I'll be taking Siovas any day.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he's going to get signed up pretty soon. He's a great player.
Now, Michael, you're all over this type of stuff. Transfer window has closed. So because they're free agents, they can still get picked up, or what's the go there?
They can sign as a free agent, but they can't start playing for their club until January.
Okay.
So, because it's closed, the transfer window.
Yeah. So unless they pick up short-term deals or deals in the Middle East or MLS or something like that, which could be the deal. So basically, that's what I'm thinking is going to happen with them 2 players. I can see them. I mean, Silvas only recently said, "I want to come back to Olympiacos and help them get the 5th star on their on their jersey and all that." So. Yeah, look, there's too many centre backs at Olympiacos anyway. So
and Martins is always he's dedicated to Semedo, so it's unlikely Siovas unless somebody leaves in January, and even then we still have
he's dedicated to Semedo because Semedo's just burnt any opportunity that he had to go to leave.
Exactly, yeah.
Leave our club.
Where would Semedo leave for
he's going
summer?
Nowhere.
Exactly.
Unless we give him away, and it was the same way we ended up picking him up. Let's be honest, when he had that incident at a nightclub or a bar. So yeah. So look, he's staying there. So second question was Norwich wrong from Yanulis and Tzolis. I'll answer that. Oh, go, Mike. No, you go, Michael.
I'll say something about Tzolis because he had that Well, he started in that cup match against Liverpool, the League Cup, and they lost 3-1.
Yep.
Right? Yep. He missed the penalty. And there was actually a little bit of controversy because he wanted it to take it, and he took it, he missed. But the coach was not impressed about that. And he called him out publicly. And again, this is not the first time Daniel Farke has said something about a player. He did that with Yanulis.
He did that with Yanulis, yeah.
I think Falk needs to work on his communication in public.
I don't know what this guy's go.
But I've agreed.
What is this?
Fuck him.
Because I just don't understand what's his go. I understand Norwich are winless.
I think Michael, that's the go, man.
I know, but is he? Can he cannot cope with the pressure at the moment? That's what I'm trying to understand.
I think
what's he thinking?
I think that's exactly the go. And we'll go to Nico here. They've gone up. They've spent big money on these 2 players, comparative for their club, and they've lost every competitive game that they've played.
And they don't look like winning anytime.
And they don't look like winning. Yeah, they look like garbage.
They could break Derby County's record from that 2008
11 points
season.
or whatever they got. Yeah. So I think the coach is massively under pressure there, Stephen.
And that's the thing. Like, he was there season before last when Norwich were up there, so he knows the pressure. He knows what's expected, and he has got a good team. But for some reason, Norwich, within the first couple of games, just rolled over and died already. They're by far the worst team in the division.
They don't care.
And they have good players. No, yeah, exactly. But the thing is, I'm not even sure. I mean, this is not really something that I know personally, but it doesn't seem like a lot of people at the club mind too much because of their business model. Their business model works because they can go down, get the money, come back up, and it works as a business model because it keeps them afloat as a club. So
Yeah.
yeah, of
I don't
course
think
they
it- I
want to
don't-
play in the Prem. Of
I
course
don't
they
think it
do.
was a bad move. I just think
They're
that
happy with that yo-yo being a yo-yo
Yeah.
club.
Well, I don't think it was a bad move for either player. I just think that the coach is feeling the pressure, and like what Michael said, and Greg, his communication isn't the best when he's you don't single out players. You don't go and buy a 19-year-old for 10 million and break your club's transfer record and then just slam him. Like, that's just stupid, in my opinion, anyway. But you don't do yourself any favors there. Like, if you wanted to spend that money, you go spend that money elsewhere, and you get yourself a seasoned pro. Otherwise, you move on from that.
There's Norwich, there's West Brom that are like that. There's Fulham that are like that. They'll come up. They'll just go up and down, up and down.
No, that's it. All right.
Norwich showed their intent early, back in I think it was June. They showed their intent when they sold Buendia to us, Villa, for a club record.
Yeah. So they're happy to just buy them and then just get a good season out of them and double and make a profit.
Well, they don't want to end up like a Derby, let's say. Now.
Yeah.
I don't think they will. I think they will grab some wins here and there.
No, sorry,
manage it.
I meant end up like Derby now, like with points deductions and all that.
Yeah. Never mind that.
No, they got there. They've built their infrastructure and all that. So that club is set.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Moving on there. Pardon me. Kyriakos at Yorgantonis 13 sent us a message. 3 games in. Let's hear the way too early predictions for Greek Super League champions, surprise of the year and top player of the year. Nico, champions and surprise of the year. Who's your champions?
Well, I'll stick with my champions one. I think, I hate seeing it, but I can't see anyone getting close to you guys. I think Bulk might come the closest, which is and I'll stick by that. That was my prediction back in the preseason show, that Bulk will get second. As for surprise, Bus for now.
Yeah, no, they're looking good. Stephen? Well, we know who your prediction is. Who's your surprise? We'll go to your surprise.
My prediction remains it's Apollon Smyrni for the title now. Look, without being in the most.
Hey, listen, your prediction could be who's going to finish fourth and pick up, or who's going to win the cup. Like, it doesn't have to necessarily be anything.
Yeah, the surprise so far for me has been Douvikas, because as Nick reminded us, we all predicted them to finish more or less last, and they've had a good start to the season. So they're a surprise for me certainly now, and if they can maintain the consistency that they've had over the first 4 games, sure, they might. Maybe not probably not finish in the top 6, but certainly finish best of the rest, which would be a good season.
That would be good for them. Yeah, Michael.
Well, obviously Olympiacos will be champions again. But
give me a bold prediction. Give me a bold prediction
margin, though.
Give me a bold prediction on who's going to make the cup final.
That's tough.
Oh no.
That's really tough.
Yeah, that was a stupid question.
Last season, Baz Yanina did have a good run.
Yeah.
So you never know. But I don't want to make a call. So
all right.
But for surprise of the year, I'm going to go with Ionikos.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I had them finishing last. I'm going to stick with that.
Top player of the year would be I'm going to go with Carlitos.
Yeah, that's who I was going to say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we'll stick with you, Nico, because we've got a question here from Dean Katsiris at Dean_Katsiris. What is your early opinions about Panathinaikos? Do we have a chance for Europe and contend for the league? Do you think that's the first part of the question. So, Nico, what do you think? How do you think the teams are going to go? Do we have a shot for Europe, do you have a shot for Europe and the league?
Look, I don't think the league, especially until we sort out our form on the road, but Europe, absolutely, most definitely. Yeah. I had us in the preseason showed it to finish 5th. If I was to make a prediction now, I'd have us 4th.
I had you 7th.
Yeah, I think we can. I think we can get top 4.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, you're playing the part there, so certainly. And it also, everyone in and around the mix has been given that boost with Ardis starting on -6. So they got to.
I think that they'll come back and feature in the top 6. It's those big 5 plus someone else, and that's why I said Bus as my surprise. Who's going to join the 5 in the top 6?
All right. Second part of this question: do you think any of the smaller clubs can contend for a European spot? Nah.
Look,
maybe Pasianina.
Yeah,
maybe Pasianina.
Yeah, I just don't think.
The hope is, I don't think they can genuinely contend, but the hope is they can stick around in the top half for as long as possible to make it interesting.
I don't think they've got the financial muscle as well. If they were to go there, their budgets are tiny. So unless they do like a Lincoln Redims type style,
I mean, you never know, George, because the Conference League is actually a good opportunity for these clubs like Pasianina, Orfi, Asteras to
AEK
make some money. Forget AEK.
Yeah, well,
aside from them, yeah.
If you look at all the teams, yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
No, it is the Conference League does open up opportunities for the smaller clubs there. I just look, it's an interesting one. I guess we'll see how Pasianina go, those style clubs. Because the also thing is there's a lot of big clubs that are competing and trying to qualify for the Conference League. So, and it's always Murphy's Law with Greek clubs. They end up copping one of those big fallen giants, and they just, they never. It'll be interesting. We'll see. We'll leave it at that. Also, any news on potential call-ups for the ethnic year? Okay, well, generally, and keep up the great work, boys. Much love from Canada. Dean, love your work. Thanks for the questions, mate. Last episode, when the ethnic year was called up, they named the team whilst we were recording, so we were hoping that they might record for us. Well, they might report the side now, but so far, no luck, unfortunately, here, Dean. So, surprise call-ups. I reckon Stuffy Lidis is going to get a call-up.
Oh my God! Big boy, great man is on the rise. He's coming back.
Yes, Mr. Elastic Bands is going to make a comeback there. Michael, whilst I'm looking for jumping on the other side, so you've got a question that was sent to you as well
by Timothy Christodoulou, our good friend.
Beautiful, Timbo.
He's asking, do you believe Yakumakis is potentially losing his place in the national team?
He won't get chosen, that's for sure.
Well, he's
upcoming one, yeah. So, look, we've got some young guys that are scoring goals, so he's definitely on the back foot now. It was his to lose, and with all the pre-season, nothing happening, and then getting a late move to Celtic, and obviously the weather maybe has affected him because he's injured again. And I think he's dropped down the pecking order.
Third, I was going to say third behind
right now.
Pavlidis and also Douvikas.
And then you got Funtas. Really. You got Funtas as well. Different style player. Different style player.
It's amazing, really, though, because a couple of years ago, the striker depth for Greece was not great. And all of a sudden, we've got 3 or 4 players that are all forwards to a certain extent, can play.
A couple of years ago, we had Mitroglou on one leg and Koulouris,
and Karelis.
As well. But look, what's his name? Golovos is.
No.
No. Instantly.
I know you're saying no, Michael, but he's banging them.
That's Moldova. Leave it.
Sheriff Tiraspol.
It is Moldova, but
he's in the Champions League. He's in the Champions League.
John Van Schip will.
He's going to call up. He's not going to call up Golovos. He's going to call up Athanasiadis as well. He's their goalkeeper. So, and Evangelou as well, another Greek. Jesus. Moldova.
You never know. He might call up Gutas as well because he's been smashing them in left, right, and centre too.
More goals than Bakasetas. Unbelievable.
There you go.
He should be our striker.
He should be our striker. All right. We got a question here on Instagram from Vasilis Moutafis. Similar question to previous week, and I stream Super League games in America. Look, Go Greek TV is all I can say at the moment, unless you get yourself an IPTV and you pick up all the Greek stations. But watch this space. I'm sending emails. I'm trying to get something going. So, Vasily, hopefully we can get some good news on that in the not too distant future. Fellas, Greg had to also just drop out just a moment ago, unfortunately, for us.
I want to mention one other player, Lumnius. He's now starting to find some form, which is good to see.
Yeah.
Yes.
For FC Twente. And he scored a terrific goal against, I believe this is team, Hadzidiakos as well, RZ.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, left-footed strike. I didn't think he had a left foot at all.
Interesting as well. Hadzidiakos still hasn't been a regular starter for the club, and they're not doing as well as what they did last season. So it's good for him, I guess, if he's on the bench and they're not winning, because it gives him an opportunity to get back into the starting side there.
I had to look up who their coach was, Pascal Janssen. He came from their academy. He was their academy coach, and they promoted him. And
so he's a new coach for him, basically.
He started winter this year, January, but his record isn't that convincing, to be honest with you.
Interesting. So, yeah. Okay. Watch his space, you say. Fellas, no Nicky or Mother news?
No.
Has to wait for next week after we dissect the derby.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Or maybe
then we'll have ethnic news and preview. I think Georgia's first, isn't it? Then Sweden.
Yes.
Yeah.
So next week's be prepared, guys. Next week's episode is going to be a big one. We got.
I'll be the first to say a prediction here. The squad will be out on Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. Look, now, as soon as we finish this podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say, we'll be out for the moment we finish.
Yeah, so, didn't I go Gentlemen, lovely to speak to you. Guys, as always, thank you for listening to our podcast. If you listen to us through iTunes, if you could give us or Apple Podcasts, whatever they're called, if you could shoot us a 5-star review, that would be fantastic. If you can share the love far and wide, tell your friends about us. Give us a follow. Give us a like. We love doing this, and we love spreading the news. Greek football in English. Gents, good to speak to you. We'll do it all again next week. All right. See you later. Bye bye.
See you later.
Latest.